I said, please, calm down. So, but he said, shut up, Oh.
She's really enthusiastic.
Really great. So let me summarize. She is your friend.
すみません。
すみません。
あ、お尻が足りない。
お尻が足りない。
そう。大きな間違いしましたね。
大きな間違いをしましたね。
I ate bagel this morning.
You ate a bagel?
I sent email this morning.
Oh, you sent an email.
あなたは人参ではありません。
人参ではありません。
神様です。
神様です。
と言いました。
人参と人間でしょ？
の違い
は
わかりません。
The purpose of this video is to introduce you to shadowing and summarizing, and also to invite you to explore and to experiment with it as a learner and as a teacher. Shadowing is basically repeating after somebody. It's basically repeating after somebody. It can be silently in your head or out loud, and that is the first continuum we talk about. So, for example, when you're shadowing in a group and you hear something that a teacher is saying, you might shadow inside your head. However, in conversation, shadowing can be very, very useful to do out loud. Also, when watching TV alone, you might want to shadow out loud. Another continuum we talk about is the complete to selective continuum. And basically, in the classroom, we exercise with students to get them to do complete shadowing, shadowing everything that somebody says, a partner says. However, it's inappropriate to do that outside of class. It would drive partners crazy. And so we do selective shadowing, just a few words that they're saying. This is more like active listening or Rogerian listening. The third continuum that we talk about is interactivity, or how interactive you actually make your shadowing. It includes selective shadowing, but it adds short comments and questions like, wow, interesting, fantastic, oh, why, or where, or what. And so it's very easy to add these in. And we take students usually through exercises of doing complete shadowing first, then selective shadowing, and then interactive shadowing. And it becomes very, very natural. After the shadowing, we actually ask them to do summarizing. So one student will relate basically what they did during the weekend, and one student will shadow them, and then they will say, wait a minute, let me see if I've understood, and they will summarize it. Okay? The advantages of summarizing is that it brings in the short-term memory. If you like, shadowing is like a sensory memory. I'm repeating words immediately after someone, whereas summarizing is at a certain distance, and it really exercises the productive ability of the brain. I'm going to teach you shadowing first, and I'm going to ask you to repeat out loud everything I say. All right? It's going to be very simple. And then gradually you're going to get your voices softer and softer down to a whisper, And then there'll be no words, and you'll still be repeating. But I want you to continue to move your lips. Okay? So, you say what I say, everything I say. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it the one sentence to...
Yeah, you just repeat whatever I say. So right now we're going to begin. You'll see. Watch. Okay, you say what I say.
You say what I say.
Everything I say.
Everything I say.
Exactly like I say it.
Exactly like I say.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Supercalifragilistic.
Supercalifragilistic.
Expialidocious.
Expialidocious.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Please continue. And let your voice get softer and softer. My voice will stay loud, but your voice will get softer, down to a whisper. Wonderful. And now, I can't hear you, but you're still moving your lips. Very good. Please continue this, and I'm going to tell you a story. Sometimes, my phrases, my sentences, might be very long. When that happens, just grab the last few words. You don't have to repeat everything. So when I say a sentence like this that's very, very long and complicated, you don't have to repeat everything. Just grab the last few words. The last few words. Okay? I had a friend once, and this was a very, very big friend. He was really big, okay? And he was not very fit, and he wanted to lose weight. He wanted to lose weight. And so he decided that he would watch aerobics. You know aerobics? Okay, on television. Every day, every morning, there were aerobics. And he wanted to get fit. So he decided to watch aerobics, and that's what he did. The problem was, that's all he did, was watch. Sometimes students come to my classes and they really want to learn. They really want to learn. But all they do is watch. Shadowing is something they can do with your brain. It's like turning on the light switch. You can see what's there. You can focus. You can notice many things. Yeah? I told my big friend, if you just watch, not much happens. So he said, okay, and he started moving. And at first, his muscles were very sore. He said, this is not natural. This hurts. And when students start shadowing, sometimes they say inside their brain, this is not natural. This is tiring. Yeah? But if they continue, just like my big friend, they get fit, and it becomes more natural, much more natural. My friend started loving aerobics, so he took a class, an aerobics class in the evening, every day, and he was doing aerobics twice a day. And sometimes, just walking down the street, all of a sudden, he would start doing aerobics. It became a habit, and very natural. Yeah? Just like shadowing can become a habit and very natural. And you can choose to do shadowing whenever you want to. What I'd like for you to do now is to tell your partner, okay, just the person next to you, what was the story about my big friend? Okay, summarize it. And then how did it feel inside your mind to do shadowing? Okay? Just for a minute, okay? Tell your partner. Students tell me that there are lots of advantages to shadowing and summarizing. First of all, in shadowing, you hear everything twice. You hear it first when somebody says it, and then you hear it again when you say it inside of your own brain. And that allows you to strengthen those neural connections, okay? Secondly, you just simply remember it better, okay? You're hearing everything twice, so it's better, it's easier to encode it into the brain, and you remember it better, okay? You also notice much, much more when you shadow, because you're hearing it twice. At first, when I'm in a Japanese context, for example, I think, oh, I'm not going to understand that. But when I shadow it, I say, ooh, I do know that. I notice certain things, certain grammatical features, and I just notice so much more, and it's really exciting. It also allows you to participate more in conversation. If you're shadowing your partner, you can at least shadow the words that they're saying, and it allows you to take part. Also, it lets your partners know those parts of the communication that you cannot understand, because you're shadowing certain parts and sometimes using an intonational contour that allows them to see that you're not understanding, or you're not shadowing certain parts, and that lets them know that you're not getting it. Okay? The demonstrations on this tape help you to see this. We're going to do 3 exercises. I'm going to go from complete to selective to interactive shadowing, and I'll explain and demonstrate each one. All right? Just in the classroom, we practice complete shadowing sometimes, just for exercise. But outside, when you're talking to native speakers or friends, you don't want to do complete shadowing because you'll drive them crazy. Okay? If you repeat everything someone says. But in a classroom where we're practicing, or with a friend, it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that. All right? So, complete shadowing. I'm going to ask you simply to tell a new partner, you're going to change partners, 3 things that you did this morning. 3 things that you did this morning. And what's going to happen, someone will say, I had steak and eggs. Okay? And the partner will shadow everything but make a transformation from I to you. You had steak and eggs. Okay? And it's also nice to use your fingers. It helps you remember 3 things. Because after those 3 things, you're going to summarize it, and you'll say something like, okay, let me see if I got it, or okay, let me summarize. And you'll say, you had steak and eggs, you got dressed, and you ran to school late. Whatever the person said. Okay, and you summarize it. All right? Can I demonstrate with you? What did you do? What did you do? Tell me 3 things you did this morning. And oh, by the way, you don't have to tell the truth. You can lie. Okay? You can lie. Go ahead.
Yeah, this morning I got up at 6 o'clock.
This morning you got up at 6 o'clock. Okay?
I checked my email.
You checked your email.
Reply for
And you
the email.
And you replied to the emails. Okay. Let me summarize. This morning you got up at 6 o'clock. You checked your email and you replied to your emails. Okay. Great. Is that clear? Okay. So whatever they say, the first sentence, if they try to go on, stop them, interrupt, shadow. One of the great things about shadowing in conversation is they cannot continue. You can interrupt them. Sometimes foreign students in America, they meet a new American, and the new American says, hi, I'm John, I come from California, I go windsurfing every Sunday. And the poor foreign student goes, right? Has this happened to you? Yeah. How do you stop them? Well, if you dare to shadow a little bit, whatever you understand, then you show them what you understand. Okay? You interrupt them. You say, you're John. And then they know, she got my name. Yeah, I'm John. I come from California. You come from California. Okay, and you interrupt a little bit, and you shadow. Yeah, and I windsurf. You windsurf. Yeah, every Sunday. Every Sunday. And you shadow like that. But you have to be brave to interrupt. Okay? So, let's do that now. Can we match up just across, maybe? And you can stand up and change seats. Could I have the last 2 people, perhaps? Could you sit over there, just for this little exercise?
I ate bagel this morning.
You ate a bagel?
I sent email this morning.
Oh, you sent an email.
I came to here.
You came to school.
Mhm.
Right? So let me see. You ate a bagel this morning. And You reply.
Send.
Or you send the email this morning and you.
Okay.
Oh, you came to school this morning.
Yes.
Complete shadowing you will want to do sometimes if someone is speaking too fast or there's a whole phrase you don't understand, or at the beginning of a conversation, so that you show somebody how much your brain can process. Native speakers, you're all different, and unless you show me how much you can understand, I don't know how to adjust, okay? So you can control native speakers. Isn't that exciting? You can control them. Yeah? Okay, we're going to go to what I call selective shadowing now. And selective shadowing, you don't repeat everything. You're only repeating certain key words, okay? And, but you're still going to summarize at the end. And since you're such an advanced group, normally I give 3 things. With you, I'm going to give 5 things. And I'm going to ask you to tell your next partner 5 things that you like. It's very simple. Yeah? 5 things that you like or you like to do. Okay? So I might say, I like skiing, playing tennis, chocolate, and I like to travel all the way around the world. The shadower will just name the 5 things. Selective shadowing, so they remember. Okay? And then they'll summarize. If you don't remember all 5 things when you're summarizing, relax. That's why we summarize. Because when you summarize to somebody, it helps you to think, but then they can give you the information again. Okay?
What do you write?
I like traveling abroad.
Traveling abroad?
I like exercising. Like going to gym.
Going to gym? Travel, going to gym?
And also I like Asian foods.
Asian food.
Especially I like Korean food.
Traveling, going to gym, and Korean food?
And also I like writing emails.
Writing emails?
And also I like meeting new people.
Meeting new people. Let me summarize. You like traveling and going to gym and Korean food and meeting new people and riding? No, riding, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we're going to go into what we call interactive shadowing. Interactive shadowing is selective shadowing, but plus questions and comments. So far we haven't been giving a lot of comments. Sometimes you already did it. You asked a question or you said, wow, or something like that. That's a comment, by the way. Wow. Okay. Really? Okay. Ah, me too. Okay. So those are short little comments. And questions you can also ask, very short questions if you like, just why? When someone says something. What, when, where, how?
I want to go to Hokkaido again.
Hokkaido again? Oh,
Yeah.
you have been there?
Yeah, I've been there. And I want to read more books,
You want to read more? Well, what kind of books do you like?
novels.
Romantic?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, both Chinese or English.
Okay, great.
And some of the Shakespeare's one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll try. And then what else? I want to travel to. Actually, it's mainland.
Mainland.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because you have a boyfriend in mainland.
San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay. So let me summarize your story. What are you? Yeah, you want to be a Hokkaido in
Yes.
future, and also you want to read more novels.
Yeah.
Right? And also you like to go to mainland to see your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
How about you? Me, my mistake was when I worked in Japan. Yeah, I worked in Japanese bar. Yeah. This is a very good bar. So Richman Richman came my bar.
The rich man, he came in your bar
Yeah, my bar.
when you work that
Yeah,
day?
I was working there.
Oh, okay.
Then he was very loud, you know.
He speak very loud.
Yes.
Mm,
So I said, please calm down. because many people in there, very good store, very good bar. So I said, please, come down. So, but he said, shut up,
Oh,
yeah, shut up, and he hit me.
What?
Yes.
He hit you? He hit you?
He hit me. So I don't like these things, So first time I say, okay, just come down, because I'm walking there. So I said, smile, and I said, just please come down.
Okay.
But he hit me twice, so I angry,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I hit him.
You hit him, the rich man?
Yes, rich man.
Yeah.
So he broke nose.
Wow.
But he is this bar boss.
Wow.
He's boss in this bar.
I see.
So I quit this bar.
Fun.
I had to quit this bar.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
this is my mistake.
Wow.
But no mistake.
That's not your mistake.
Yeah, no my fault. He fault.
Did you find work after this?
Yes,
Fine.
I work many. I have many part-time job. I have a many mistake story. Yes.
That's a great.
Yes, that's
Did you summarize each
Oh,
other's mistakes?
I need to summarize your story.
okay.
You work in bar in your country. Then one night, the rich man came to your bar, and he was loud and he was noisy in the bar.
Yes.
Then you speak with them, with him, and he doesn't respect you, and you hit him, and he was a boss, and you lost your job.
Yes, I lost.
There's a lot of background research on shadowing. Repetition is a natural function in first language acquisition. Children repeat what their caretakers say quite often, and caretakers repeat what children are saying all the time. But they're also expanding what children are saying. And so shadowing has a very strong pedagogical function in L1 acquisition. And even among adults, repetition is something that occurs quite often. Deborah Tannen, in her 1989 book, Talking Voices, has many examples of repetition and shadowing among adults. It's quite natural for two people to construct a conversation. Also, since the 1960s, shadowing has been used by testers in what they call elicited imitation. And basically they have short sentences that students repeat, and they gradually get longer and longer and longer. And it's been shown to be a very good test correlated with other language skills. It's just rather labor intensive to score them at the present time. Translators, simultaneous translators, use it as a training exercise also, where one person is saying something and the other person, and the exerciser, if you like, is repeating immediately after the person. Okay? They do this first in the same language, and then they start doing it in a second language, okay, to train their simultaneous translation skills. Pedagogically, in the classroom, usually we ask them to shadow during the pauses. And it's nice for teachers to learn how to speak in short chunks, like this, so that there's a pause after the chunk to allow the brain to repeat if it wants to. Pedagogically, again, what can teachers do to stimulate this shadowing in the classroom? After teaching students how to shadow and how to summarize and doing lots of exercises, simply writing it on the board at the beginning of class and reminding them that I'm going to ask you to summarize what I'm saying, this explanation later, will start them turning on their brain. Also, when you walk into the classroom and simply repeat the first few words, you simply repeat the first few words, it kind of turns on this repetition function. And it's important, though, to leave those pauses, to allow them time to silently shadow in their minds. Giving them lots of interactive activities so they can shadow their partners, and summarize them will also help immensely. And giving it to them for homework too. Asking them to summarize the things they've learned in class outside of class, to teach others outside of class. One area of education that helps us to explain shadowing and summarizing is Vygotskian sociocultural theory. And in this theory, they talk about intersubjectivity. That first, everything that we learn is between two minds before it is actually internalized and taken in, and one can use it intramentally. And shadowing, basically, what's so wonderful about it is it makes manifest what minds are modeling. If I'm speaking to a learner and that learner is silent, that learner doesn't show me what they're understanding. But when they shadow, I have an idea, an approximation of what their mind is modeling, the construction, what they're understanding. And then I have something to adjust to. And together we can form an intermental space, if you like, where we're adjusting to each other. And by what I can see that they're understanding or not understanding, I make certain quality adjustments, and together we can construct it. And finally, that student can learn and internalize some of the things that I'm explaining. So shadowing and summarizing really makes manifest what minds are modeling, okay, what activities are creating. And it's a very exciting way to think about it. The learner is allowing us to see their zone of proximal development, the area in which they can be stretched and they can learn. And the shadowing opens this up so that we can give them input that they can grasp and they can learn from. And that's really important. Earl Stevick, in a 1989 book describing 7 successful language learners, of these 7, 5 of them reported shadowing, silently in their heads and also out loud with conversational shadowing. They didn't call it shadowing so much, but Stevick refers to it as shadowing occasionally. And if very effective, successful language learners are shadowing and doing this naturally, I think it's really good for other language learners to experiment with this and to try it out. And this is what this video's purpose is also, to invite you to explore your own brain and to see how much shadowing you can do and what types of shadowing are appropriate for you and that can help you. This is for teachers a kind of action research project. And for learners also, it's a participatory action research. And learners should inform their teachers also how well it's working. Could you tell me 3 things that you've happened during the convention that are memorable to you, or that you remember good ideas, or anything like that? What did you learn?
I learned about learning disabilities.
You learned about learning disabilities?
I got pushed out of the way.
You got pushed out of the way? Oh, you poor kid. You got pushed out of the way. Because of learning disabilities?
No.
You were in the way. Okay. And what else?
I learned about shadowing.
You learned about shadowing? Oh, that must have been fascinating. Wow, great. Great, okay, let me see if I've got this. You learned about learning disabilities. You got pushed out of the way. And you learned how fantastic and wonderful shadowing was, right? And summarizing, I bet, too. Yes, great. Okay, and then you'll switch, okay? So please teach partner, new partner, find somebody else. You can do it.